Hello everyone, I'm Swati, a PhD student at Wright State University, Ohio, USA. Today I'll be presenting our paper on pain intensity assessment in sickle cell disease patients using vital signs during hospital visits on behalf of my co-authors from Wright State, Northwestern, and Duke universities. I will start with the motivation of the paper, then discuss our dataset, pain prediction models, results, and discussion, and finally conclude the presentation with future work. Sickle cell disease is the most commonly inherited blood disorder affecting millions of people worldwide. It is characterized by the production of an altered type of hemoglobin. This altered hemoglobin deoxygenates while passing through blood vessels, polymerizes, and becomes fibrous, causing the red blood cells to become rigid and change their shape to sickle-shaped. The altered red blood cells then can conclude blood vessels, a phenomenon which is known as vaso-occlusion, resulting in a lack of oxygen to the tissues and thereby causing pain. Most patients with sickle cell disease experience repeated, unpredictable episodes of severe pain. These pain episodes are the leading cause of emergency department visits and may last for as long as several weeks. Arguably, the most challenging aspect of treating pain episodes in sickle cell disease is assessing and interpreting the patient's pain intensity level. In current clinical practice, self-description is the gold standard approach for determining the absence, presence, and intensity of pain. Due to the subjective nature of pain, however, it becomes challenging for the clinicians to precisely ascertain the severity of the patient's pain. Besides, effective treatment is palliative, including intravenous opioid therapy. While these self-described pain intensity levels provide important clinical reference indicators and have been proven to be useful for treating patients suffering from pain, in most situations, it might have challenges when applied to certain vulnerable populations. The current clinical guidelines, however, recommend frequent observations of vital signs during assessment and treatment of pain episodes, as they are an objective measurement for the essential physiological functions and are potential indicators for the patient's subjective pain levels. It has been previously reported that machine learning techniques can be used to design objective pain assessment models using vital signs from inpatient electronic health records data. However, people with sickle cell disease suffer from various acute complications that can result in multiple hospitalizations, emergency department visits, as well as outpatient care visits. In this work, we explore the relationship between the varying nature of hospital visits and physiological measures on pain intensity for patients with sickle cell disease. Now coming to our dataset, in this study we utilized approximately 67,900 records from electronic health records data collected from 50 participants at Duke University Hospital, collected over a period of 5 consecutive years. Each record contained measures for 6 vital signs, which include peripheral capillary oxygen saturation, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, heart rate, which is pulse, respiratory rate, and body temperature. Along with the vital signs, each record also included the patient's self-reported pain score, with an ordinal range from 0 indicating no pain to 10 indicating severe and unbearable pain. Now, some patients with sickle cell disease have higher inpatient requirements than others due to the subjectivity and frequency of pain crises. Furthermore, because of sickle cell related complications, many people with sickle cell disease may visit hospitals more frequently than others. However, limited information is available related to various hospital visit characteristics, including whether it was an emergency department visit or not among the sickle cell disease patients. Information related to the type of hospital visit by patients can help develop services and strategies for best meeting the patient's healthcare needs. In order to understand the variations in the nature of visits, we follow the definitions recommended by our co-author clinician to extract information about the nature of visits for every record in our dataset. These are the definitions in our dataset that we followed. We considered for each patient a record to be of a different visit if there is a gap of at least 2 days between the records. Furthermore, we define a visit to be an outpatient visit if the patient has not stayed in the hospital for a day or longer and has 2 or less recordings taken. And we define a visit to be an inpatient visit if the patient has stayed for 2 or more consecutive days in the hospital. We define another type of visit, which is the outpatient evaluation visit, if the patient has stayed in the hospital for 1 day or has more than 2 recordings taken in a single day. In this figure, we show the distribution of visit types for each patient in our data set. The red number of visits indicate the inpatient visits, and the orange one indicates the outpatient evaluation visits, and the green ones are the outpatient visits. Now, before going into the pain prediction model, we examine the Pearson correlation between the 6 vital signs and the type of visit in our dataset, as we plan to use them as features influencing the pain scores. As shown in this figure, in addition to moderate correlation of 0.57 between systolic and diastolic blood pressure, we observe a correlation of 0.59 between pulse and respiratory rate in the original dataset. The other variables are poorly correlated or uncorrelated with one another. Hence, we utilize all the 6 vital signs and visit information as predictors of our pain prediction models. Now, coming to the modeling part, we implemented 5 supervised machine learning classification algorithms to predict the patient's pain scores based on their vital signs, which is k-nearest neighbors, support vector machines, multinomial logistic regression, decision trees, and random forest. We investigated both the intra-individual level and inter-individual level analysis, that is, when inter-individual meaning treating all the patients as a single entity. For intra-level analysis, we used the 6 vital signs, visit information, and pain score as patient labels were unused, since the samples from the same patient were employed to build the personal model in this analysis. However, for the inter-individual level analysis, we employed the 4 different scenarios as reported by Young et al. That is, case 1 is imputation with patient labels and prediction of data with patient labels. Case 2 is data imputation with patient labels and prediction without patient labels. Case 3, data imputation without patient labels and prediction with patient labels. And case 4 is data imputation without patient labels and prediction without patient labels. The figures here show the accuracy distribution of predictions for all 5 classifiers. Decision tree achieves the highest accuracy, ranging from 0.503 to 0.953 and an average accuracy of 0.653 when trained on the 6 vital signs. Thus, our models trained on the vital signs of a patient could correctly predict the self-reported pain scores of the same patient on an average of 65.3% of the records. Similar performance with additional visit information provided, as shown in the second row here in this table, indicates that for the same patient, our models can learn the differences between vital signs and pain intensity experienced by a patient during different types of visits. Our results show that a model trained on the same patient's historical data can predict the pain intensity level for the same patient in the future based on their vital signs during outpatient, inpatient, as well as outpatient evaluation visits. Such a model can provide medical teams with additional information about the severity of a patient's pain, which does not rely on the patient's subjective response. However, in real-time scenarios, when a new patient visits a hospital, intra-individual level models cannot be applied until sufficient data is collected. We report the inter-individual pain prediction results for 47 patients in the table here. The best performance was achieved by case 4 by decision tree with an accuracy of 0.728 as compared to 0.429 by multinomial logistic regression in case 1 by Young et al. This indicates that our decision tree model trained on more vital signs data collected over a more extended period of 5 years from a larger cohort of people could predict the severity of pain for a new patient more accurately. Also, with more data, the models can generalize better, as we did not consider the patient level differences during both data imputation and pain prediction, that is case 4. Additional visit information seemed important in predicting pain scores while considering patient information at both data imputation and prediction stages, that is in case 1. This indicates that we need to consider the type of visit to predict pain scores from vital signs for a personalized prediction from a generalizable model. Now, in our data set, we have 11 unique self-described pain scores ranging from 0 to 10. However, it is challenging for one person to distinguish between such broad and granular pain intensity levels and can be consistent with every pain episode. Hence, we reported our model performance at an inter-individual level by transforming our dataset on a 6-point rating scale, a 4-point rating scale, and a binary rating scale in the table shown here. The 11-point rating scale is the same as previous. The 6-point rating scale involves 0, which is no pain, very mild pain, that is 1 to 2, mild pain, moderate pain, severe pain, and very severe pain. 4 pain score includes no pain, mild pain, moderate, and severe pain. And the binary pain includes no or mild pain, which we included as pain score 0 to 5, and severe pain, including pain score 6 to 10. The higher accuracy associated with the narrow scales is attributed to the narrow space to misclassify many records by our models, thereby improving the chances of correctly predicting a pain score. We believe the lower performance of random forest here compared with decision tree is attributed to the replacement with duplicate-based bootstrap approach to subsampling used in training a random forest model that could lead to training records not representative of the test sample the model is tested on. Additional information about the change in pain, that is increase, decrease, or no change, would help determine the effectiveness of therapy and the consideration for pain management, such as either giving more pain medication, keeping a medication dosage stable, or decreasing a pain dosage. Predicting a change in pain may be more critical than having an estimate of the pain score, since the medical team can make treatment decisions based on this information and ultimately improve a patient's pain more quickly. Hence, we formulate a 3-class pain change classification problem, that is increase, decrease, and no change. In this case, a baseline chance accuracy can be 0.33. We report the results of our 2 best performing decision tree and k-nearest neighbor based inter-individual level classifiers in the table shown here. Now, it is not surprising that our decision tree model was able to predict a pain change correctly 52.2% times, that is 0.7% more, when provided with additional visit information. It indicates that our model learned that the change in pain severity might be different for each type of visit for different patients, that is in case 1. This means it is essential to consider whether a visit is an inpatient or outpatient visit in order to estimate a change in pain intensity for each patient. Now, concluding our work, in this study, we leveraged multiple machine learning algorithms on 6 physiological measures of patients with sickle cell disease to predict pain scores. We were able to deal with missing data and conduct a series of experiments at both intra-individual and inter-individual levels. In each of the experiments, we observed higher accuracy with an increase in data. All the models were able to capture the variation in the type of visits at an inter-individual level when considering the diversity between patients in data imputation and prediction. The evaluation demonstrated that using objective physiological measurements to predict subjective pain in sickle cell disease patients may be generalizable for a larger cohort of patients. In the future, we look forward to extending our work to visit level analysis and exploring the patient's medication information as well. Thank you for listening to our paper presentation. I would also like to thank NIH for funding this work, and I am open for questions. Thank you.